I'm doing great, even though every day's not fine. But still I woke up today, another day to get on my grind. Got me singing, whoa, whoa. Barefoot, I'm built for ready. Whoa, whoa. Barefoot, I'm built for ready. I'm doing great, even though every day's not fine. But still I woke up today, another day to get on my grind. Got me singing, whoa, whoa. Barefoot, I'm built for ready. Whoa, whoa. Barefoot, I'm built for ready.
Hi, good evening and welcome to Between the Lines, presented to you by Live Wire Sports. Today on our show, our special guest is Senator Javan James out of St. Croix. Senator James, how are you doing today?
Hey, good night, everyone. Greetings to the people of the U.S. Virgin Islands, and a special thank you to Live Wire Sports for having me here today.
Thank you for being on the show. You are definitely one of our higher profile guests on here. We are excited to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me once again.
All right, let's get into it right now. So, what is your position? You are a senator, but what else do you have under your belt going on as far as your everyday work?
Well, first of all, thank you for asking that question. As a senator, I'm responsible for making laws. We are also responsible for appropriating funds and providing oversight. I'm the chairman for the Committee on Youth, Sports, Parks, and Recreation. And anything you want to know about that committee, feel free to ask me, and I will assist you.
All right, now, so speaking of your position on the committee as the chairperson, how did you go about getting that position?
Another great question. When we got elected in November of 2018, several days after, all the individuals who were elected came together and decided which committees they will chair and which committees they will be a member of. So as a newly elected individual, it was a very exciting experience because first off, when you're so young and when you just get in, you don't really chair a committee. So it was a great opportunity when I was able to have that opportunity to chair the Committee on Youth, Sports, Parks, and Recreation. So how did I came about getting this committee? Everyone selected their committees, and I was like, okay, so which committee I'm going to chair? And I remember that my platform surrounded around youth, sports, parks, and recreation. So one of my colleagues told me, why you want us chair the Committee on Youth, Sports, Parks, and Recreation? But before it was called the Youth, Sports, Parks, and Recreation Committee, it was a Committee on Education, Recreation, and Youth. So we got rid of the education part of the committee and we created a Committee on Education and Workforce Development. And then we just created a new committee, which is now called the Youth, Sports, Parks, and Recreation.
And as LIBOR, we love people that work with the kids. We love giving back to the kids. We love working with sports. So this is right up our alley, and you definitely are somebody that needs to be on this show to speak about those kind of things.
Well, thank you. And any questions you have regarding my role as a senator, please feel free to ask me and I will answer it.
All right, now with that Youth, Recreation, and Parks Committee, what exactly does your committee do?
Well, before I get into details, once again, the role of a senator is to write and pass legislation, appropriate funds, and to provide oversight. So the Committee on Youth, Sports, Parks, and Recreation is responsible for bills relating to the youth training schools, the Legislative Youth Advisory Council, Youth Apprenticeship Program, the Virgin Islands Commission on Youth and other youth programs, bills relating to sports, facilities and complexes, recreation centers and physical fitness, and and bills relating to public recreation, racing, parks, and beautification, bills relating to casino and gaming, racinos, internet gaming, and bills pertaining to anything regarding sports and other activities. And I don't know if you have realized that anytime that I said that I'm responsible for anything, I'm responsible for the bills relating to those subject matters in the Committee on Youth, Sports, Parks, and Recreation. My vice chair is Senator at Large Stephen Payne. So between him and I, we both make up the chairman and vice chairman of the committee, and we also have some additional members who serve on the committee as well.
All right. Do we have any upcoming projects that will be happening under your committee?
Well, most definitely, if you want to speak about projects, we definitely have to speak about bills. On July 30th, we are convening a hearing for the Committee on Youth, Sports, Parks, and Recreation. We should be addressing a bill from Senator DeGraff, and I also have an amendment for that bill, and the bill speaks to restructuring the Sports Commission. My amendment, which I have right here in my hand, speaks to amendment number 30-717. It will be heard in the Committee on Youth, Sports, Parks, and Recreation for Bill number 33-0282. And long story short, the Virgin Islands Sports Commission was created in the 30th legislature. So that was 3 legislatures before me. And it was signed by Senate President Malone, and the author of the bill was Senator Myron Jackson, along with other members of the 30th legislature. Ever since the establishment or creation of the Virgin Islands Sports Commission has been dormant. There were several attempts to fund the Sports Commission and to get it up and running, but they were unsuccessful. And also, Hurricanes Irma created some challenges for them when it comes to finances and funding the Sports Commission. So what we have done in the 33rd legislature of the Virgin Islands, during the Committee on Finance budget hearings for the fiscal year 2020, I would advocate for $100,000 to go towards the Virgin Islands Sports Commission. I want to say thank you to the chairman of the Committee on Finance for believing in me and actually putting those funds that I requested in the budget to fund the Virgin Islands Sports Commission. So now that the Sports Commission is up and running, or I should say funded, what I've done is on January 18, 2019, I met with Commissioner Calvert-White of the Department of Sports, Parks, and Recreation. At the time that I met Commissioner Calvert-White, he was the acting commissioner for Sports, Parks, and Recreation. We met in my office in the District of St. Croix, like I said, on January 18, 2019, and we discussed the challenges that his department is going through, the funding and development for the parks and recreational centers. And last but not least, we spoke about the Virgin Islands Sports Commission. How this ties into what you have been asking me is one of the biggest projects that we are working on in the Committee on Youth, Sports, Parks, and Recreation is to make sure that the Virgin Islands Sports Commission, which is now funded because of my advocacy for the $100,000, we will be able to move forward with sports policies that will benefit our youth and children of the Virgin Islands. So I have that legislation, like I told you, which is Amendment 33-717. And most recently in the committee, in a legislative session, just yesterday we had a legislative session, and I want to say thank you to my colleagues for supporting Amendment 33-403 proposed by Senator Javan James. And it basically mandates that the Virgin Islands Sports Commission should put a plan in place by August 1st regarding its plans for sports tourism, sports policies, and other activities in the U.S. Virgin Islands. So now that it has passed, it is now going to Governor Bryan for approval. And once it's signed into law, they are tasked with the responsibility of putting their plans in place for the Virgin Islands Sports Commission. So just pedaling back a little bit, I've spoke to Commissioner Calvert-White in March of this year. We were supposed to have a hearing on March 19th, but COVID-19 basically canceled everything and postponed the hearing. That is why we're having a hearing on July 30th to speak about the restructuring of the Virgin Islands Sports Commission. And what my second amendment basically does is, instead of having all those political appointees serving on the Virgin Islands Sports Commission, we want to make it more of a public-private partnership and have people from the private sector. Say, for instance, individuals like Livewire Sports can be able to sit on the Sports Commission without having everything to be political. So we can get individuals who are truly involved in sports on the Sports Commission. And one of the things that I've done is, in the Sports Commission, the term for commission member was 4 years. 4 years. So I'm striking out 4 years and inserting 6 years. That way, the commission members can stay whenever the administration changes. Say, for instance, all these individuals who were recently selected by Governor Bryan are now serving on the Sports Commission. And if a new governor comes in, a governor say, well, I don't want X, Y, and Z to serve on the commission anymore. I'm going to get rid of everybody who served under the 4 years of Governor Albert Bryan Jr. So what I'm saying is, instead of doing it every 4 years for their term, we're going to make it 6 years.
And now I just love how you were so into it and so passionate about it that you were able to get the party moving forward. I also just love how the passion, it goes beyond your office. You seem like you really love sports and love children. So this definitely is something that we are excited about and ready to see happen.
Yes. So if you don't mind me just using a little bit of my time here to speak on what the commission is responsible for.
That would be perfect. Go right ahead.
Now, I'm reading straight from the Virgin Islands Code. You can also find it on www.legvi.org. And then when you go on the website, you will look for the tab that says Virgin Islands Code. And once you click on that, you click on the search box and you type in Sports Commission, and you can read the entire law which speaks to the Virgin Islands Sports Commission. So I'm just going to speak briefly on some of the powers and duties of the commission.
Go right ahead.
Along with the membership. So based on how it is structured currently, the Department of Sports, Parks, and Recreation is responsible for housing the Virgin Islands Sports Commission. So under the Department of Sports, Parks, and Recreation, the Sports Commission was created. The Commissioner of Sports, Parks, and Recreation serves as the ex officio member. The President of the Virgin Islands Olympic Committee serves on that commission. 3 representatives from the Virgin Islands Sports Federation shall rotate every 4 years. And that's what I told you. I striked out 4 years and placed 6 years.
Correct.
The Commissioner of the Department of Education or a designated representative. The Commissioner of the Department of Tourism or a designated representative. The Chief Executive Officer of the Virgin Islands Economic Development Authority or a designated representative. The District Chair of the Virgin Islands Horse Racing Commission or a representative designated by the Commissioner of Sports, Parks, and Recreation if the District Chair is unable to serve, and also the District Chair of the Virgin Islands Boxing and Wrestling Commission or a representative designated by the Commissioner of Sports, Parks, and Recreation, the District Chair of the Virgin Islands Automobile Racing Commission, and 2 individuals from the private sector appointed by the Governor. The members of the commission shall serve staggered 4-year terms, with the exception of the President of the Virgin Islands Olympic Committee and the Commissioners of the Virgin Islands Department of Sports, Parks, and Recreation, Education, and Tourism, and the Chief Executive Officer of the Virgin Islands Economic Development Authority. So like I told you, I don't want it to be staggered 4-year terms. I want it to be 6-year terms.
Right.
So individuals can serve as long as they can without being political prostitutes. So, and just quickly, I just want to speak on some of the powers and duties of the commission, and you can feel free to ask me any question from there on, okay?
Go right ahead, sir.
The commission is responsible for generating funds for the administration of the Sports Commission through programs and fees generated from sports tourism programs and activities, identify locations and advise on the establishment, use, and maintenance of playing facilities in the territory, is establish a sports tourism policy in collaboration with the Department of Tourism, the Virgin Islands Olympic Committee, and the Virgin Islands National Sports Organizations. Establish policies and guidelines for training and selecting Virgin Islands elite and potential elite athletes in collaboration with the Virgin Islands Olympic Committee and National Sports Organization. They're also responsible for organizing territorial tournaments to select the best athletes for international competition. They are also tasked with the responsibility of creating a sports calendar to help prevent major sports events from being scheduled simultaneously, develop as a funding source for the Commission's operation revenues collected from activities related to sports programs, and offer elite summer camps and child safeguarding courses. And I can go on, but those are just some of the things that the Virgin Islands Sports Commission is responsible for. And that is why I'm bringing legislation to restructure this commission to make sure that our young men and women and even seniors and adults can benefit from this policy.
And I know we have a lot of viewers that are tuning in that are getting so much knowledge from what you are speaking about right now. So this is going great. Moving on, though, we have another question. How, if able, are nonprofit organizations allowed to receive money from your community?
Another great question. I want individuals to understand we have several committees in the legislature, and the committee that is responsible for money is the Committee on Finance. Senator Viale is the chairperson for the Committee on Finance, and Senator Blyden is the vice chair for the Committee on Finance. So just the other day, we had the governor sent down a legislation which speaks to sending funds to finish the Party Joseph Stadium. So even though it is related to sports, parks, and recreation, the fact that it's a bill that speaks to money, it goes to the Committee on Finance. So what I can do is I can lobby. I'm not a member of the Committee on Finance, but because I'm a part of the majority and I do chair a committee, I can easily speak to Senator Viale. And if we do have funding available, then we can address that issue. But how individuals go about receiving funding is during the budget hearings and budget markup. Usually there's about $3 million that we put aside for nonprofit organizations and other activities out there relating to youth. So what we usually do is, if we know you are a reputable organization that basically does a lot of things for the community, we tend to give those individuals. And of course, you have to be in good standing. If you're a nonprofit organization, you have to be in good standing with the Lieutenant Governor's office. And once you're in good standing, we will be able to give you the funding within the budget.
Now that sounds like the plan is well laid out. Our viewers should be able to take that information and run with it and do what they need to do with that information. What effect do you think sports has, particularly on our community?
Well, before we can speak of generating revenues, it's about health and wellness.
Right.
You know, and I feel that we can do so much more in our schools. What I plan to do is, in the July 30th Committee on Youth, Sports, Parks, and Recreation hearing, once he's available, I plan to bring the athletic director from the District of St. Thomas. I think his name is Kirby Calendar.
Correct. Yes, it is.
Yes, I will try my best to reach out to him. I know it's summertime, so I'm not sure if he's going to be available. But what I want to do is to have that conversation with the athletic director to make sure that there's some kind of connection between the Virgin Islands Sports Commission, the Department of Sports, Parks, and Recreation, myself as the chairman of the Committee on Youth, Sports, Parks, and Recreation, to make sure that from an elementary level, junior high school level, and a high school level, that we have a proper channel that can identify potential athletes who can be able to qualify on a national level and go to college, no matter which sport it is, and be able to represent the Virgin Islands and be able to have different scholarships and things. And that is what the Sports Commission is basically responsible for. And you're going to hear me say the Sports Commission numerous times because it's something that is just sitting there in the Virgin Islands Code and no one really paid it any minds. But what I've done recently, like I said, ever since I came into office, I've been advocating for it, making sure that it's funded. So how I see sports in the territory is about health and wellness first. And then from there, we can speak on keeping our seniors and youth engaged. And if anyone is involved in sports, it builds brotherhood and sisterhood.
Right.
We have a situation here in the Virgin Islands where crime is up. And this is another reason why we should pay attention to these activities that keep these youth engaged. It keeps them occupied. And it also brings that brotherhood, sisterhood vibes into it, because now I know my friend from East, I know my friend from West, I know my friend from the BVI, I know those guys from St. Thomas, I know those guys from St. John, and it creates that connection. So before we can speak about sports tourism and generating revenues and tournaments, we have to deal with the brotherhood and sisterhood impact that it would have when it comes to sports in the territory.
Do you think the government of the Virgin Islands is doing enough to promote and support athletes and athletics at this current moment?
No, the reason why you can always do more.
Right.
One should never become complacent. So, am I saying that we are not doing anything? I'm not saying that. But can we do more? Sure. And one of the ways that we can do more is making sure that, and I plan to address this, is I plan to speak to the Brian Roach administration and making sure that if you want a business to come into the territory, I have no problem if you come here and make millions of dollars and you provide jobs and what have you. But it would not hurt if you're making all these billions of dollars to adopt a park.
Right.
So if I was in a position to say, well, hey, this X, Y, and Z business is coming into the territory, before I even sign that dotted line, I want to know, hey, can you make a commitment? Can you at least send X, Y, and Z funds to the Party Joseph Stadium? Can you send some funds to the Emil Griffith Ballpark? Can you adopt a park? Before we can even speak about giving you all these tax breaks. And one of the things that I've seen in the Virgin Islands that we have EDC companies. And I want these nonprofit organizations to be aware of these EDC companies who are obligated by law to give back to certain causes when it comes to our youth and other programs in the US Virgin Islands. And I think it's a very dark secret, and those who are aware of it do take advantage of it. But more people need to be aware of EDC companies who are tasked with the responsibility of providing funds for our youth and recreational activities.
Now, I heard you mention sports tourism. What is the current state of sports tourism in the Virgin Islands right now?
There is no sports tourism besides Paradise Jam. I want to say a big shout out to Nels Hawkinson. He does a great job. If anyone wants to know what sports tourism is basically like, you need to take a page out of Nels Hawkinson book. I had the opportunity to meet Nels Hawkinson in my office. He came to the District of St. Croix and I met him. Ever since I've met him, we have been in communication and working on certain things. So I want to say thank you to Nels Hawkinson. But we need more than Nels Hawkinson. We need Livewire Sports to get involved. We need people like Tegan to get involved. We need people like BSA to get more involved and to be able to benefit from some of the things that we have in the territory. One of the great benefits of the Virgin Islands government is within the Department of Tourism. In the fiscal year 2020 budget, the 33rd legislature of the Virgin Islands put in place $1 million that goes towards sports tourism. So if you have a big project that will bring people from all over the world to come into the US Virgin Islands, whether it's St. Croix, St. Thomas, or St. John, and you have a good business plan, you need to reach out to Commissioner Bushelty, Commissioner Joseph Bushelty of the Department of Tourism. In the budget, we have $1 million that goes towards sports tourism. And those nonprofit organizations or for-profit organizations who has basically ideas to promote sports tourism and they have a good solid plan, need to go and sit down and meet with them.
All right, so where do we go from here? What improvements can we make directly that could impact sports tourism for years beyond our time?
Well, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but we have to start with the Virgin Islands Sports Commission. And that is why I brought forward legislation, like I mentioned earlier, Amendment 33-403, which mandates that the Virgin Islands Sports Commission shall submit a report to the legislature on its plans and activities by August 1st. This amendment was recently passed in the Monday, June 29, 2020 session. That was last night on St. Thomas. And what I do also plan to bring is Amendment 33-771. No, not Amendment 33-771. Amendment 33-717. Correction. Amendment number 33-717, which remove some of those political appointees and bring in people from the private sector who are passionate about sports in the territory so they can move that agenda forward. So if we really want to see things happen, we need EDC companies to do their part by Governor Bryan negotiating with them. We need individuals to adopt a park. It doesn't take much to paint a park. It doesn't take much for individuals to say, well, here $1,000. If you're making $20 million a year in the Virgin Islands as a business, nothing prevents you from saying, you know what, here's $1,000. Take that and fix the parks. So I'm calling the private sector to help us with our infrastructure and our sports activities. I want to say, and before I even mention how we can move forward with sports, I want to say a special big up to the Department of Sports, Parks, and Recreation. We may not always agree on certain things because I have a responsibility to provide oversight. So sometimes it means putting my foot down on certain issues. But at the end of the day, I cannot do the things that I want to do if there isn't a Department of Sports, Parks, and Recreation in which I provide oversight for. So I want to say a special big up to Sports, Parks, and Recreation and whatever they need. And once we have additional funding available in our government coffers, I will do my very best with my colleagues to make sure that we fund those initiatives. But in the meantime, with COVID-19 putting a strain on our Virgin Islands government revenues, we need to become more creative and have more public-private partnerships so they can be able to assist us. But where do I see sports in the territory? July 30th, if you tune into my hearing, you'll be able to receive an update from the Horse Racing Commission, been in contact with Governor Albert Bryan Jr. and also members of the Horse Racing Commission to find out what's the status on that situation regarding horse racing. I also was successful at identifying $500,000 to improve the drag racing strip in the district of St. Croix. We also have the FIFA soccer ballpark, the FIFA soccer field in the district of St. Croix. We also have the Polly Joseph Stadium, St. Croix. Now for St. Thomas, if you reach out to Commissioner Calvert White of Sports, Parks, and Recreation, he would tell you that the federal government has $21 million for us due to Hurricanes Irma and Maria for us to revitalize those parks and recreational centers. So we just have to be a little patient, wait for FEMA to release those funds. And once FEMA release those funds, I am confident that Commissioner Calvert White, along with the Commissioner for Sports Park, the Commissioner for Public Works, will do their part to make sure that our parks are up and running. So feel free to ask me any other question.
Now, do we have a finish date for the Polly Joseph Stadium, and what kind of facility would that be?
Well, it should be basically, okay, first off, the first question is when it will be completed by.
Correct.
The bill was passed yesterday in session, and it was voted on favorably by my committee members. And I want to say thank you to the members of the 33rd Legislature of the Virgin Islands who voted for the bill yesterday. Now it goes to the governor's desk. Once the governor signs the bill into law, then from there, they have $8.2 million. The way how the legislation was written, the first $4.1 million will go towards the first phase, and then they have to come back to us and show us the plans, the designs, and pictures before we release the extra $4.1 million. Once they do exactly what we told them to do based on the legislation, that project should be completed by September of 2021.
Now, I heard you speak about COVID. How has COVID directly impacted your committee or the plans that you guys had in place for this year?
Well, I will tell you this much. Like, say, for instance, we had senators who brought legislation to fund certain things in the Committee on Youth, Sports, Parks, Recreation, or the Committee on Finance. And because of our budget constraints, we have to basically pull back from those because now the priorities have changed for the Virgin Islands government. So instead of funding, say for instance, I'm just using this as an example, $100,000 to each park, And say, for instance, we have 10 parks, that would be like $1 million. So instead of placing that as a high priority right now, we have to deal with payroll for the Virgin Islands government. We have to fix the schools. We have to deal with our hospital. We have to fix the roads. We have to deal with the low hanging fruits. So instead of rushing to put money into something that can wait, you basically have to be more patient now. So it has really hurted the plans when it comes to horse racing as well, because I can remember before COVID-19 came into the picture, we had individuals having conversation regarding rectifying that situation between the Virgin Islands government and Southland Gaming. And COVID just put a freeze on a lot of things, but I know good is going to come out of all of this. We just have to continue to practice social distancing, wear our masks, and once things get back to a sense of normalcy, then we can continue to move forward with the sports commission and having public-private partnerships. But I think we're going to be just fine.
Yeah, we're definitely in a strange time where we can't see sports being played on our fields. But how often do you get to go to the games or the youth events?
I try my very best. I am always on St. Croix, going to some of the games. I've been to several games. I've also been to several games in the district of St. Thomas. And I've also been, I won't say games, but I've been in attendance to sports related activities in the district of St. John. So as a chairperson of the Committee on Youth Sports, Parks and Recreation, I have been involved in a great amount of games on all three islands.
Now we want to talk a little bit about you and your sports and if you love sports or not. So did you play any sports growing up as a child?
Yes, I played basketball. I wasn't the most athletically inclined when it comes to sports, but I played basketball. I was more into music. I don't know if individuals know, but I used to be in a band back in high school. So I was into a calypso band. My first calypso band was with Pompa back in junior high school and high school, but I played basketball.
All right. And what teams were you on? Were you on the school teams? Were you on travel teams? Anything of that sort?
I will be honest with you. The most I did was try it out for teams in Perby Larson, and that was basically it.
You never decided that you wanted to play basketball a little bit further, no middle school, no high school, just outside.
The only time I would play basketball was on the basketball court in my neighborhood, and that was it. But I was a computer nerd. Like I was always on the computer or making music, playing with my reading box.
All right, that's very interesting. But your love for sports and the fact that you are at all the sporting events, that does enough for us. You don't have to be an athlete to be supportive of your community and do right by the children's community. So even though you weren't an athlete growing up, a great athlete, it's very good to see you still giving back in that form to athletes that are growing up now. You don't have to share the same passion to be an inspiration.
I'll tell you this much. I never, in my wildest dreams, thought that I would be a senator. When I was growing up, I wanted to be like Daddy Friday and Daddy Jones. Like honestly speaking, I wanted to be like Daddy Friday and Daddy Jones. And for those who can recall, Daddy Friday wanted to be a senator, but he was never successful. So my role model, which is Daddy Friday, I was able to do something that he wasn't able to accomplish. So I still feel accomplished, you know?
Definitely. I agree with that 100%. All right, we're going to move into our interactive segment now. After our interactive segment, we'll open up the live stream to anybody who would like to ask any questions, and we'll get those questions across to you. But we're going to start with our interactive segment. Everybody who's been on the show so far has done the interactive segment in different ways. This one, we're going to call This or That. I'm going to give you two options. You choose one of the two, and you can give us a reason why, and if not, I'll get it out of you anyways.
No problem.
All right, passion fruit juice or sorrel?
Sorry.
Why sorrel? Why? Everybody love passion fruit juice.
Sorrel has like a great alkaline taste. Passion fruit is more like acidic.
You're right. Okay. You got a good point there. Football or baseball? Seeing that you like to play basketball before.
I like football, more aggressive, more a contact sport.
Would you try to play football at this age?
Hell no.
All right, taking it back to your childhood again, once again. Well, it's not really childhood because adults do it as well. talking about some board games here. Trouble or sorry?
Trouble.
You like to pop people back home and all that kind of stuff. That's what it is.
Yeah, I like to like instigate sometimes.
Yeah, I tell you, like trouble takes definitely. I don't even know what to say. I think it's a thing in you. Like when you get popped home, you angry for the rest of the game. So trouble wine for me, never for me. All right, chess or checkers?
Chess, but I play better at checkers.
And chess is a game that could go on for days and days. So I applaud anybody who can play chess. I myself can't play chess, but to applaud somebody to play chess because it goes on for days and days, maybe sometimes. So that's definitely a very unique skill that a lot of people are able to accomplish. We're going a little athletic now. Adidas or Nike?
Adidas.
Adidas. I don't know. I think Nike has been doing great over the years, but Adidas probably catch up to them a little bit because people are really getting into Adidas, whether it's apparel and shoes and stuff now. So you might be right with that Adidas question.
Well, you see, when everybody going left, sometimes I like to be spiteful and go right. So I don't want to follow. I want to try something different. So Adidas.
All right, that's a very good answer. I like that. I like that. Be different. Be yourself. Be unique. Johnny Cake or Pate?
Gucci link, you talking about? No, I like pate.
All right, so no, we want this Crucian Johnny Cake or you want a Gucci Link Johnny Cake?
I ain't gonna lie, I was always skeptical about it, but I try a Gucci link and it tastes good, but I don't really like too much of the Gucci link.
Listen, good luck to whoever you talk to after the show because that answer just now half and half. So the Crucian may be mad, the St. Thomas may be mad. You might be in trouble and we can't help you after you leave the show. Greater Olympic athlete, Michael Phelps or Usain Bolt?
Usain Bolt.
Why is that?
Well, I could be a little biased, but he's on the Caribbean. He has proven to us that we can do it too.
So that's definitely a good way to answer that question because I feel like Usain Bolt they are equal athletes, but if you have to tilt the scale and you gotta pick, I definitely go Usain Bolt too. Like you say, he's an island boy, so inspiration we connected to definitely. Now back to the questions. Tim Duncan was one of our greatest basketball players ever. Do you think that Aaliyah Boston, who's another great basketball player, can reach to that magnitude as far as her career is concerned?
Yeah, with the right mentors. I had the opportunity to meet Aaliyah Boston. I think it was when the last time she came out here. That was for Paradise Jam, right?
Right.
I met her at the high school, and I really was looking forward to like this very young person who probably not really up to the time as far as like still young. But when I met her, she's very, very mature. Like I was very shocked. Like she's very mature, and I think she would be great once she keep it up.
All right, so as we're winding now, we'll open it live to a little bit more questions for Senator James. He's doing a great job getting all this information across to us right now. And even I am shocked to hear some of the stuff I'm hearing right now. So you're doing a great job. We're going to open up the live right now to see if we can get any questions for you to come in. Would you like to speak and say anything else to our athletes before we get to the questions? Any inspirational thoughts?
Well, what I would tell everyone who is interested in sports in the Virgin Islands, approach it from a business standpoint. Find someone who can be able to be a mentor or a manager, and find a good accountant and treat it like a business. While focusing on your craft, treat it like a business. And once you have that in place, by the time you're ready to strike your first deal, you know exactly what to do from what not to do. Treat it like a business.
All right, what was the last tournament or event that you were able to attend as far as sporting events in the community?
The last one I went to prior to COVID-19, the event I went to was by Canigata Ballpark. They had the one for the Pee Wee League.
Uh-huh.
They also had the opening for the Pee Wee League on St. Thomas. They were also a basketball game I can't remember exactly when it was, but it was what's the school next to Red Hook? That's Ivana Durakin, right?
Yes.
Yes, they were a basketball game there, and I think Robinson was there as well. And I was in attendance there with my wife. I also went to what else I went to? Teague and them had they game in what do you call it? Complex. I don't know
Right.
if you remember that league. I was there. I was there when they were giving out the trophies as well. I try my very best to make it out there. And when I do go, I go with my wife and my children.
Now that we spoke to you and that you're on the live and we have everybody listening, we are looking forward to you playing the celebrity game the next time you have it in St. Croix for basketball.
Talking about that, right? I was supposed to be a part of that kickball tournament for what do you call it?
For St.
DJ Benny D. DJ Benny D, but COVID-19 messed up St. Thomas Carnival. So whenever we do get back St. Thomas Carnival, I look forward to participating in that with DJ Benny D. And wherever you want to put me on, sure, I have no problem. And I
Definitely.
would challenge you. You see, like how Swanks and Daddy Jones get a rhythm competition.
Uh-huh.
If you want to compete to say who will make rhythm, let me know. 'Cause I know how to make rhythm.
We definitely look forward to seeing you in the community just because of your platform and what you do for the kids. They would love to see you play sports. Definitely. Whether you're good or bad, the experience is what matters for the children. Just being able to see somebody of your caliber down at that level doing the same things they do is definitely inspiration for our kids that will follow you.
And thank you for having me here, man. And I really want people to like really pay attention to what I'm doing. We have a lot of negativity that basically circulates in the atmosphere, and sometimes negativity shares faster than positivity. But I'm asking everyone to go on my Facebook page, Senator Javan James, that's Javan James, and every single month or every 3 months, I put out a quality report so individuals can see what I'm doing in the community. I'm very active on Facebook. I'm always sharing stuff, and I love to sponsor activities once I have money saved to the side. So I have sponsored a lot of basketball games. Speaking about that, I was responsible for bringing Basie and three St. Croix basketball teams to the Milton Newton Classic tournament. You remember that last year?
Yep.
Because of me, they were able to come over to that tournament. I made sure I found sponsors and had them stay up in a hotel, paid for their trip and everything. That's me. That's my heart. So even though I might not be at Tim Duncan or whatever the case may be, but when it comes to youth, I am very passionate and I'm always trying my best to get funding and sponsorship.
All right, so we have a couple of questions that were sent in from the live stream. One of them was, how do you reach Mr. Joseph Bushelty?
That's no problem. You just go online and you probably go to Department of Tourism or USVI or type in on Google Department of Tourism and the contact number is there and you just email them. But I think his email is jbushelty at usvi.gov or something like that. But go online and just type in Department of Tourism contact and you will go to their website. Or if you have any problems, you can call my office at 340-712-2246. Just today, I had a conversation with Commissioner Bushelty. We were discussing a drone league that we're bringing to the Virgin Islands.
All right, so these good ideas just keep popping up, and the community is now aware of the ideas you have, as well as the ideas the committee and Sports Park and Recreation will be putting forward. So this is going to be an exciting time for sports in the Virgin Islands. I can feel it already. It's coming.
Yeah, man, and I just want individuals to know, like, I'm a very humble person. Like, if you inbox me right now, I will answer you. Is no one from my office. That's like actually me answering you. Like, I'm up. I'm always available. I'm always on St. Thomas. Once we have a Senate hearing and there's nothing else to do, I will go to a basketball game. I will come out and speak to people. I know people like Pogo, Black Seed, Mamba, all those guys. I'm cool with them. So I'm just reach out to me, call my office, 340-712-2246. Let me set up a meeting, let us talk.
All right, another one of our viewers asked a very interesting question on a sports show. They decided to ask, do you still have any old rhythms that you listen to?
Yeah, trust me. And if you're in doubt about my rhythm skills, ask Swanks.
Who can this viewer asks, who can he speak to about bringing lights back to St. Croix Educational Complex football field for next season?
I can make a phone call, but that should be the Commissioner of Education. The Commissioner of Education is Raquel Berry. But the first thing that needs to happen is the principal of that school should be aware of that, bring it to the attention of the maintenance division. From there, they will probably put in a work order, and then it will probably go to the maintenance division in the Department of Education. And once they have the funds or the inventory when it comes to the lights, that should be addressed. But something that shouldn't be difficult. And I'm sure that they are fully aware of that. So I can make a phone call, but it's still up to the Commissioner of Education to do her part.
All right. Another viewer asked, how soon can nonprofits, particularly Livewire Sports, send in their proposal for funds?
To the Department of Tourism or to the EDC programs?
Through the EDC programs.
Well, I will tell you this much. Call my office, 340-712-2246, and I can guide you. That's something that's going to require more time. It's not that simple. You have to meet the certain requirements that most of these companies do ask for. And once your plan falls in line with their objective and mission and what they require of you, they will release the fundings.
All right. Once again, Mr. Javan, Senator Javan James, I'm sorry. We thank you for coming on this show. You did a great job. You definitely informed the people of the Virgin Islands, and we are happy to have someone of this magnitude on our show, that you took the time out of your day to come back down to our level and show that you are a regular person just like everybody else.
Yeah, and I just want to shout out Dante OCC. Respect.
It's definitely Dante who asked that question about the lights on the field.
Yeah, man, that's my boy. That was my neighbor back in the good old days.
All right, once again, thank you. And thank you guys for tuning in to Between the Lines here on Livewire Sports. Want to give a shout out especially to Leo, the third Sibley, for our introduction music. And we'll see you guys next week as you tune in here at 7 p.m. for our next episode of Between the Lines. Thank you, Senator James.
Yeah, man. God bless the Virgin Islands.
Bless you.
I'm doing great, even though every day's not fine. But still I woke up today, another day to get on my grind. Got me singing, oh, oh, oh. Effort, I'm built for it, oh, oh, oh. Effort, I'm built for it,